Hey guys, it's me Kevin, and today, for probably the first time ever on this channel, I'll be talking about cricket. And in today's episode, I'll be talking about the problem with recent Big Bash League seasons and the need for the BBL to expand to 10 teams. In recent years, fans and sport commentators alike have been complaining constantly about the longer length of the BBL season, where every team plays each other twice or 14 games in total. And this means that every team has 7 home games, and a lot of people have complained that that is too long for the BBL season. Me personally, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd have a BBL game starting from the day after the AFL Grand Final all the way to the last Saturday before the Carlton-Richmond opener. But we got to be realistic here. Crowds this year have been absolutely diabolical. Most teams are averaging less than 10,000 people a game. And really, it seems like people just don't want to attend all 7 home games. Some could argue that the drop-off in attendances were due to coronavirus, and that's definitely played a part in it. I mean, before the pandemic, average crowds were around 20,000 people a game. But 20,000 people, that's nothing like what it used to be before the 14-game format was introduced. They used to average around 35,000 people a game. And there's good reason for this. The more games a team hosts, the lower their crowds are going to be. That's because the people that want to attend their home games are going to spread it out, okay? So some people may attend one game and others another game. Rarely you'll have fans that attend all 7 games. There are some hardcore fans that do so, but most of them just want to attend 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 games, but not all 7 of them. And that can explain why there has been a huge drop-off in crowds in recent years. And it's that phenomenon which explains why crowds in the Ashes, as well as Socceroos and Matildas, haven't really been impacted that much since the start of the pandemic. Because they're generally one-off games, or in the case of the Ashes, well, it's only 5 games at a venue a year. So, given that it's a one-off instance, people will be happy to attend those games. But in the case of the Big Bash, where you've got about 7 games spread across 2 months, they're not going to go to every single game. They might go to some, but not all of them. And this is why each BBL team needs to host less games and get more people into the select games that they do host. But how do we shorten the Big Bash League season in the current 8-team format without impacting the integrity of the competition? People are complaining that the 14-game season is too long and that it's draining financial resources. But we can't go with a 7-game season because that's too short and people want to watch more Big Bash. So people argue, well, the middle point, probably 10 games. But then that impacts the integrity of the Big Bash League competition because some teams will play each other once and others twice. Imagine finishing top because you happen to play the bottom 3 teams twice. Or missing the top 5 because you had to play the top 3 teams twice. It's pretty unfair. And really, what is the best solution which would have a decent length season without impacting the integrity of the competition so each team plays each other once? The solution? 2 new teams and each team play each other once in a 9-game season. But which 2 markets should join the competition? Well, I reckon Canberra and Wellington, and I'll explain why right now. So Canberra is probably the best option for a new BBL team. There's already a lot of support there. They basically hosted a bucket load of neutral BBL games due to border closures last year at the start of the season, and even hosted a couple finals. And they're also providing decent support to the Thunder right now, and in their recent game got about 10,000 people out of a 16,000-seater stadium. So I reckon if they just upgrade their stadium a little bit, make it a bit more fresher and upgrade the capacity, I reckon a Canberra team would work pretty well there. They've definitely got the support for it. Call them the Canberra Meteors and they can wear yellow. My other option is the Wellington Magic. They'll wear black. And why I think a Wellington team would work in the BBL is because people complain that if we expanded, we would dilute the Australian cricket talent pool. Well, here's the thing. If we expand into Wellington, we're going into New Zealand's cricket talent pool. And I know some people will be skeptical about having a New Zealand team. They're like, oh, that's a rival nation. Why should we accept a rival nation into our competition? Well, to be honest, we've already got Kiwis playing in Australia's competition anyway. And besides, the Super Smash is only professional in full-time employment only. It's not really professional in any other way, and it's probably the lowest quality professional T20 competition in the world, the Super Smash. So I reckon just one Wellington team or one New Zealand team playing in the Big Bash would provide a lot more interest in T20 cricket in New Zealand. They could almost use it as their like sort of New Zealand A sort of side, and have like all the best New Zealand players that aren't playing in the national squad at the time. They could play them in the Big Bash, and in fact it'd probably be their T20 squad anyway, because most of them wouldn't be playing in tests anyway. So I reckon a New Zealand team would work well. It's not impacting Australia's talent pool at all, and also there's a few stadiums that they could use, and I reckon why Wellington, not Auckland, is because Wellington has a designated cricket stadium in Wellington Regional Stadium. Auckland doesn't. I'm still slating Eden Park to host a couple games, but really Westpac Stadium, or should I call it Sky Stadium, should be the main host for the Wellington team. Plus, all the other Big Bash teams have a capital in their name anyway, so hence the Wellington Magic. But there were some other decent markets that could have hosted a Big Bash team, like Geelong, Gold Coast, or Darwin. Why didn't I mention those? Well, I reckon also, as part of my plan, some teams could share their markets between two places. So the Hurricanes could play between Hobart and Launceston, Renegades between Melbourne and Geelong. I reckon the Thunder, given they'll lose Canberra, could play a couple games up in the Northern Territory, and the Brisbane Heat could play games between the Gabba and Metricon Stadium. And the way I see it, those 5 teams which have 2 markets, that being the Heat, the Magic, Renegades, Thunder, and Hurricanes, they all play 5 home games, 3 in their main venue and 2 at their secondary venue, or in the case of Thunder, 1 in Darwin and 1 in Alice Springs. Meanwhile, the 5 teams which play at just one venue, that being the Scorchers, Strikers, Stars, Sixers, and the Meteors, they can play 4 home games, all at the one venue. Another drawback behind the 14-game competition is the fact that the season has to start before the school holidays and finish after, which impacts crowds a bit. And also, there aren't enough weekdays in the summer to fit every single Big Bash game in. So they're kind of playing on bloody Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday afternoons, which is a bit weird. The good thing about this shortened format is that all games can exclusively be at night, every night for the holidays. Well, except for a couple Saturday afternoon games in there, but it's a Saturday afternoon, so it should be fine. Starts on the first Thursday of the private school holidays, probably a week early for public schools, but private school holidays starts there. And the grand final will be played on the last Saturday before the school season starts. So I hope you like this cricket video. Please like and subscribe. Comment what you think of the video down below and what you thought of my ideas. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.